internets, and welcome to this video where today I will be attempting to build a small vehicle in a similar manner to the Mini, the old Mini that is, as I feel the BeamNG import thing they've got coming up quite soon would be quite interesting with a ultra light, good handling car, because the closest we've got at the moment is a very basic version of a Covet, which would be about 900 kilograms minimum. I think we can beat that. We have the 1946 Coupe, very much a Porsche, but we don't really want a Porsche. I'm sure there's a Mini in this game. If we go with body type and we go with kind of saloons and hatchbacks, we should find it under one of those categories. Although it's not technically a hatchback, it's that type of vehicle. And 1955 van, that looks exactly like a Mini should, only it's a van. So I get a serious feeling that one is the one to go for. But we could also try and build a saloon. That would work as well, if it was front-wheel drive, of course. Although it would be unconventional for the time, I think we could pull something out of that. And we can go around here. Yep, I mean, it's a slightly newer vehicle, but I'm not specifically building a mini rival here. I just want something that's retro and very simple and very, very light. Panel material will have to be steel. It's still going to be a relatively cheap car. We're not going to be fancying out here in any particular respect. We can go with a unitary construction, as they were pretty young in the day, I would say, but they were definitely technology that's available, as opposed to a technology that is exotic, should I say. We could go with a ladder, but then, as I say, it's kind of a technology that was on its way out, so we don't want that. We could go with corrosion-resistant chassis, but no, again, it's a cheap vehicle, so corrosion resistance is going to add a lot of money given that we're in the 60s. And we'll go with a transverse engine placement, naturally, although we could go with longitudinal front-wheel drive. Transverse is kind of where we're going, similar to a Mini. Just whip off the Mini, basically. We'll go with McPherson's strut front, and we could go with solid axle coil on the rear, although that's not the best for weight. We do actually have torsion beam available. I didn't know torsion beam existed in the 1960s, but apparently it does, so we're going to use torsion beam because it's a very simple, lightweight technology. I doubt it's going to be expensive to manufacture, because look at that, it's just a metal beam with some bits on it. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing too complicated about that. Now, we can go with different engine variants. We could try and go with an inline 6, but anything more than 4 cylinders is a bit unrealistic because it is still supposed to be a cheap car, remember? We are not building an expensive car here. We'll go with cast iron. We're not going with a aluminium engine because, as I just said, it's cheap. We can't afford to go wasting money. Although we could perhaps go with a direct acting overhead cam head. If I deem it necessary, it might be worth spending the extra money. It'll also be 2 litres by default. I don't want 2 litres. I want about 1.5. The Mini's engine was 1.3, at least in the Cooper S, I think it is, that had a 1.3 engine and 75 horsepower. So if we can compete with that, I would be happy. We'll go with cast iron internals. It's all just cheap car stuff here, but done to about as good a standard as we realistically can. I may stick the quality up, or even stick the quality down, and just go with some better technology. If it works, it works. Fuel injection, yeah, fuel injection was indeed around in the mid-60s. It wasn't a very common choice at all, but certain late 50s American cars did have fuel injection as an expensive option, so, you know, it existed. single barrel eco, but 2 of them I normally go for on this type of vehicle because it's a very good compromise. It gets me good economy and decent power at the same time because there's 2 of them. If there's 1 of them though, it'll throttle the engine horribly and we won't get any power out of it. So I'm not sure. We don't want to run much fuel mixture because we want it to work. I think we'll go regular leaded. We don't want much fuel mixture because we want it to work for economy. We have various bits here. Shortcast would probably save a bit of money. I'll have to see how the power's coming through the engine though. We can probably make the exhaust smaller, but nothing to worry about now. I don't think we need any mufflers. Although I probably will regret my decision. I don't think we need them in what is just a simple 4-cylinder. It's going to sound more agricultural, but then it's a cheap car. You can't expect perfection. There we go, 55 horsepower. So this is about Mini Cooper level, maybe a little better than that. If we're on Cooper S levels of performance, which I do, yeah, we have to just do a bit of tuning. 59 kilos now. It's a lot heavier than that. It's 128 kilos. That's not bad though. I would have expected worse somewhat. We could go with the estate, a better weight balance, that's for sure. And what are the other variants? We have a sedan, we have the estate, and we have the coupe, which is a 2-door. So I think this one for better stiffness because, well, performance. We'll bring that back just a little, that will give us better weight balance. Maybe bring the front back as well. That'll give us more of a traditional sports car look, let's say. I wish I could bring those door pillars back as well, but unfortunately I can't. Bring the entire front end back, for that matter. Again, we want to reduce the amount of weight hanging over the front wheels, even if it is a transverse vehicle. I'm still doing it anyway. I don't know, I think I've just goofed by saying that. Because why would I need to have rear mounted weight on a transverse car? I guess it would help push it around the corners. When you like chuck it at a corner, if there's some weight on the rear, it's going to kind of hold the drift a bit better before you floor it, and then the front will stabilise the car. We have a lot of colours, but I won't bother with them right now. We don't want any fixtures from 2020. I think if we go from 1960 to 1970, fixtures that were available for this time period will likely work. Like, these may not seem conventional, but I'm pretty sure they would work on an old Volvo from the 70s, for example. So they're not too far off. They do look small, though, if I try and get them working. Bit of a problem there. Unless, of course, I make them bigger. Problem is, I don't want it to end up really goofy-eyed. I could try and do some more grabbing, but no. It won't let me go any lower. That's the trouble. Actually, because slope that looks better, I think, personally. So we could have them do something like that. And we could have chrome, perhaps. It is the 60s after all. Plastic would be more popular on a 70s car, but this is a 60s. And I'm not sure I like that. Carbon fibre is irrelevant for the era. We can have this as body colour, but then I don't know. We could have a grille, just a standard old plain Jane grille, as they say. This will do the job. I mean, I can't fault it. It might end up looking like an old Datsun, but if it does, then it does. I've whipped off the wrong company, I guess. No, we want to put some chrome on. What do we have behind it? Yeah, that looks a bit more era relevant. I think if we have that kind of square mesh, then it looks more era relevant than all the fancy meshes, because they didn't have fancy meshes in the 60s. Not that I know of, at least. If there was anything fancy, it would have been done in Chrome. So we can have some letters as well. If we go on badges, we actually have letters. So I think I know what to call it. And where is a G? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can spell, honestly. I'm going to call it a Migni, perhaps. Is it a Migni? No, the Migni was kind of a whip-off of Mini in Brickwigs. So I don't know if that's the correct name to call it by. Yes. I need an R then in that case. I've come up with another name. Where's the E? Ooh, even better. I was going to call it Derek, but this will make even more sense. Right, so you can go there. D. Dr. Beats, or whatever his name is, who makes the headphones. And Dr. Dre, I think it is. Oh, what was the name I was thinking of? Ah, that was it. Cedric. I know I've just completely ruined the surprise, but I had to think of it up at the top of my head. No, it's a bit too low. That's a bit too towards the middle. A, B, C. Cedric. Come on, Cedric. No. There we go. Cedric. That keeps resetting to the middle. I don't want that. Please, please, no. Ah! I had it. I had it in the position I wanted it in and it just jumped back. No! Free yourself! Free yourself, Powell. Cedric. And C. K. And I've got rid of my eye. Oh dear. I can't see. Come on, no. Almost had it there. Come on. No, no, not you. Yes, you're fine. Cedric. My equivalent of swearing. Just saying Cedric over and over again. Cedric. Maybe not perfect, but I think it'll have to do. And then we can have a little vent. It's almost certainly now just a Datsun rip-off. And we'll go with one of these. That can go stretch out. We can flip it upside down as well, I believe. Cedric, be my friend. Oh dear. So there we go. No! Keeps clicking off where I want it to go. Do we want that? Do we want that to be chrome? I don't think we do, actually. But we do want this to be kind of mesh, same as above it. And we'll go indicator. Add a pair of these as well. Thank goodness that didn't destroy the grill. There we go. Cedric, your face is done. It has not got an engine though. Well, he has not got an engine because it's Cedric, of course. We have to call it by he now. It's probably not the worst front I've done. I'll say that now. And as far as the transmission, they did have automatics. Do we want a 3-speed automatic? Probably not. It won't be as much fun. I don't think a 5-speed is really available, though, as a choice either, because that would have been just for high-speed supercars at the time. We'll go with an open differential. It's all we should need. And we'll go with cross-ply tyres. Again, I guess radials exist, but they would have only been high-end cars at the time. Ooh, I can bring that back more. Not sure why I would want to do that to poor old Cedric, but I guess I could. We'll go with some medium compound tyres. I don't want to push to too high a level of performance because it's not that ridiculously high performance car. However, it needs some grip. We can't just leave it with no grip. The Mini only had something like 135, so if I get 155 tyres on this vehicle, I will be happy with myself, and it will go on as it should. We don't want magnesium wheels. They're definitely not a realistic choice. We could go a bit smaller perhaps in order to get the 155s. Yes. It's maybe not ideal to have 12-inch wheels. I think the Mini had the same. I was going to say Migni for a moment. No, they're two different cars. But there's not much choice on what I do. Unless I could make the tyres slightly bigger, I guess. If I do that, though, it would start looking very, very goofy indeed. To be honest, I can make them a bit smaller and it starts to look better. So 145. Come on. I want 155s. There we go. So the tyres are a little smaller than they were. No, the tyres are a little smaller height-wise than they were, while being ever so slightly wider as well. All in all, I wouldn't say that's too bad a change to have happening to your car. We'll go save that. And I think we've done a good job here. I'm not certain. We'll have to come back and see what economy is like from this Cedric monster, but yeah, maybe it's a good decision. There is brakes available. We'll go with good old solid disc front drums wheel. Maybe we could go with drums all around. Yeah, let's go with drum 2LS front. Max out the size to attempt to slow this beast down. Brakes just weren't great back then. I don't want to go and put solid discs on though, but if I need to, I will. It's just, I'd rather go with proven technology. Just my personal perspective. Oh, the engine has failed due to valve flow. Okay, you can see there. I've not really done much with it. It doesn't rev. It does not like revving, at the moment at least. However, we can lower that, and the front tyres are narrow for the chosen tyre compound and the load they carry. Well, so it says that. There's not too much I could do. 155s, sure they're narrow, sure they'll spin up all over the place, but if I'm only trying to put 75 horsepower down, I might just about get away with it. I think in BeamNG at least, the Burnside has 165 horsepower, not horsepower, well, it got less horsepower than that, but it's got 165 width tyres, and that's to put down about 150 horsepower, so you see my point. It's not that bad, respective at the power it's putting down is very limited. We'll go with a... Actually, do they help? No. So, I guess it's that. Hard long life tyres actually fix the problem. Well, they're cheaper as well. I weren't going to spend any more on tyres than medium, but if I can save money and get a car that handles better, I'm not complaining about that, you know. That's definitely not a bad thing. No, I was going to say definitely, but apparently normal language is for people that can speak. I'm not one of those people. I think semi-clad under tray is probably worth the engineering time because it'll make the car more aerodynamic under here where it matters, and make the miles per gallon better as well. Maybe making the acceleration 0.1 of a second quicker, 0.2 of a second quicker perhaps. That's always something to look for. We'll have the default on the seats, I think. 2 on the front, 3 on the rear. Sounds about right. And, or if we're trying to compete specifically with a Mini, 2. But I think we'll keep it light enough with a bench seat on the back, to be honest. We'll go for a basic interior with perhaps a basic radio. I'm not sure even that, though, is correct. How much does it weigh? It weighs 26 kilos. I think I'll get away with it, to be honest. Power steering, for the time being, none. If it turns out to be heavier than I was expecting, I will go with power steering. We'll go with standard 50 safety. It is a very, very basic car, remember. We don't want to go and add loads of safety features because safety features can add to the cost of the car. Progressive springs, again, how much are these? The engineering time isn't much more. The material cost is more, but since it's a sport model, I think we can afford it. Fun budget, we actually fit right in there. And only twin tube dampers exist at the moment. So indeed, if we set up for comfort, sorry, it doesn't like that. Normal, pony budget, sport, fun, yes. That is exactly what we want. We want it to come up as a fun little car. Utility, it doesn't do too bad under fun budget even. Off-road, you know, even when I completely mess up the suspension, it's not too bad. But 117.4, that is very, very good. It's not the most affordable car, I think. 42.1 isn't the best, but even then, there's pony budget and it says with rear-wheel drive. It is not rear-wheel drive unless I've been horrendously mistaken. No, it's a front-wheel drive, and my Windows was popping up. But it was front-wheel drive, and we have 58 horsepower. Now, I wonder what we're getting in terms of economy. Yeah, I think that's understeer that kicks in there. But I wonder what we're getting in terms of economy. 15.7, not too slow, actually, either. What was the weight? I never got to see the weight. So, 97 miles per hour. There is the setting on it. But it only does 85, apparently. So, where was the weight? 823. I think it's heavier than an early Mini, but I'm not complaining. That is still a decent car weight thing. It's still decently light, so I'm happy with that. If I could save the 23 to 25 kilograms and get it to 800 kilos or just below, I would be very, very happy. I could do that by removing the infotainment, actually. Or entertainment, because not really infotainment at this point in time. If it comes to it, I'll probably do that just to keep it under 800 kilos, let's be honest. Unless the market seriously love it. No, they like it more without it, to be honest. It makes the car more affordable and presumably makes it more fun as well due to the low curb weight. So, yeah, they kind of would like it. It's saving the funds, really, is what is important on this car, and that's a way of doing it while saving the funds is that's a way of saving the funds while keeping it cheap and fun, keeping the fun without losing the fun. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put the thoughts together in a way that makes sense, but I'm really struggling. I could go for an aluminium block, actually. Although it might not work too well. How many RPMs have we got? A lot. So, I did say I would consider direct acting overhead cam. It's clear to me now I'm not going to need to do that. It's a solid little inline 4 engine, this. And I think I did configure this fully for RPM. Just, it's very bore bias if you want RPM. And you can move the stroke up. It'll give you better torque and better economy in a lot of cases. But we don't want that right now. Right now our priority is performance. So I think by making this aluminium, we can perhaps save a fair amount of weight. And where have we gone? Come on. I know aluminium isn't really a mass production technology at this stage. However, I have to kind of cheat, I guess. Does it say no mass production though? Because maybe I just can. No, it doesn't tell me you can't mass produce aluminium engines. So I don't know. I'm probably wrong in thinking this, but I don't know. I know the Hillman. I think Hillman Imp had a aluminium engine while still being relatively cheap. So that is one example I can name that did have an aluminium engine. I know it's not impossible. We'll go... What else is there? Quality, that was it. There doesn't seem to be quality on engine block itself. Just that. There's this. So I don't think we need to change any of that. We can even lower the quality though. Does that change the RPM? So lower bottom end quality. The top end, it was 8300 I remember. Crank 8700. 8300, but we're still easily within what the engine wants to do. I think if we can draw this out a bit more, if we can keep it around 4500 RPM as the max RPM, excellent, because that way we won't put as much stress on the engine. Although if we are to get near the 75 horsepower of a Mini Cooper S, which I do want, even if we're not directly rivaling it, I do want that kind of performance level. So I think 58, 4600 RPM, that way the power's delivered. And we'll go like so. 64 horsepower. We'll go and perhaps change ignition timing, I don't know. Or is it the carburetors we need to change? We've got quite a small exhaust actually. And the power is still not what I would like from the car. But gains are minimal. Gains are very minimal from changing the fact of what the exhaust is. Short cast is decent enough unless there's serious weight gains to be had, which I guess you could say there is. But personally, I don't think for the sake of less than 10 kilograms, it's worth the extra engineering cost. There is differences in expansion characteristics though between aluminium and steel. That would be the reason to go for that, not to do with the actual outright power it can provide. So max power is a bit higher. I guess I'll try the long tubular. I don't have anything particularly against it, so you know, try and push this engine where we can, save weight where we can, even if it doesn't seem worthwhile. It's just I don't want cast iron going against aluminium and kind of expanding in all different ways. At least if it's all aluminium through the whole engine, there just isn't as much chance of having problems there. Hey, I'm a British car company and we think about reliability. Yeah, I don't know. Like, why do British cars have that reputation? It's probably the people managing them, to be honest. It's not so much the actual build quality, but the people designing them to go wrong. We have different carburetors I could have a look at. Although single barrel eco is very good for economy, and as you'll see, power isn't too bad. We'll go and have a look at the compression. Nope. I think if we rev up this thing. Nope. Come on. It didn't want to actually drop power there. That was interesting. Come on. I'm trying to find the point, though, at which I can gain power, and it's just not giving me some obvious hint. I don't know. Maybe I need an even better 4-barrel carburetor. Or a DCOE, but I just don't want to. I want an eco carburetor. So maybe I'll have to go for an even bigger still engine to get what I want. The engine is very advanced on this car now. Probably more advanced than it needs to be for the class. But still doing relatively well for the class. It looks like the price has maybe hurt it. And what's our miles per gallon? We're in the green for weight, I would say. We're under 800 kilos, which is solidly what I wanted. It's easily 200 lighter than the Covet will ever be. So, yeah. 22 miles per gallon? But it was 25. If we can keep this over 20 miles per gallon, I will be comforted. We'll go perhaps lower the quality on some of these things. They do lower the horsepower though, that's what I notice. But if we want to make it cheaper, I guess if we lower all the quality but make the engine larger. I don't like lowering the quality, but if we do this to make the engine larger, it'll still be able to rev high enough, remember. We easily have enough excess RPM to get away with this. So, up you go. I'll try a 1.8. It doesn't have to make a lot of power, though. And we're going to always make extra torque to kind of compensate for that. We'll have a 7,200 RPM limit now, by the looks of it. But the engine is nowhere near that, let's be honest. What am I doing? 30 horsepower isn't really competitive. And 69. Yeah, it's a better number than we were having before. And 4,200 RPM. It appears to be dropping for performance points. So 70 and 4,300 horsepower I notice. Not horsepower. That'll be a lot of horsepower for such a little engine. And 4,400. I'm noticing the power curve kind of starts to droop in the middle by this point. So yeah, I probably don't want that. I probably want to keep it at 4,300 RPM. At least with this engine size. If I keep it there, it might work better. Also, the exhaust needs to be made larger. All this stuff you need to remember when adapting a larger engine. Oh, you're too high quality for me. And power is just lost like that. Boom. And you can go get me some power. Get me some cheap power. 42, and it's like a van engine now in how it revs. It just revs so low. But I do have very solid torque, which will give me a good 0 to 60 time. The emissions are through the roof, apparently. I don't know how any car could have emissions that bad. Maybe I've not been in my own car factory yet. The trouble is, what I'm doing here is adding the weight again, and that was originally what I'd set out not to do. I've just realised the engine's over 100 kilos again. Oh dear. So 808 kilos. Yep, we've put a lot of weight back on. So perhaps if we go back to this engine phase, it would be good if we go, actually we're all cast iron, but we go back down to a 1 litre engine or whatever. We could just rev the nuts off it, really, and see how it copes with that. 1000 exactly, yeah. Take that, size classifications. And, wrong way. I meant to pop the menu up. We'll go do that. Oh, and the direct acting overhead cam, that was what I meant to put on. Because that way we can have a smaller but higher performing engine. Now, it is going to rev higher, but as you'll see, we can rev almost to 9,000 apparently, without any major trouble. And I'm messing with that. I need to mess with the rev limiter, not the actual componentry itself. And the tuning of the components, I just need to raise the rev limiter. Which you can apparently do in Beam anyway. You could probably have an engine in here that's really messy in this game, but is like an amazing performance engine in BeamNG. It would be pretty amusing, to be entirely honest. We'll go 53 horsepower. Maybe I cut down the engine too much, but let's see how heavy it is. And indeed, it is lighter despite being a cast iron unit. So that's what we have to bear in mind. But with the lower quality, we should be able to go with aluminium as well. It's just making the engine bigger was overall a fairly pointless ordeal. And I don't want to do that because it gives the engine just a complete lack of punchiness in the kind of mid to high RPM range. That's okay. I think I can deal with that, but it's not going to be the most punchy engine in the world. We'll have to bear that in mind. It's 1,000 furious cc's here of power. And I don't know how to do things with them. Right, I guess forget all economy and go for DCOE. DCOEs are good. Well, good for power, that is. 60 horsepower. Also, this is the exhaust. How could I forget? If I've got the wrong exhaust for the engine, of course I'm going to lose power. No? Maybe it wants a bigger exhaust. No, maybe it wants the same size exhaust. Slightly lost at this, but it is 74 kilograms. Let's hit it. Let's hit it here. Just hit it a gear instead of give it a hit. Sounds pretty good, actually. A tiny, tiny engine. Mind. Actually, better still, 3 cylinders. Keep this thing entirely light. We're going to make it back up to 1 litre. Or maybe a bit more. Maybe make it a 1200. Got to find the right balance for power and acceleration and everything. And they're all damaged. Apparently. They want to blow up. Ah dear. Why do you want to blow up on me? Come on, 5600 RPM. Strengthen the power band. There we go. I think we can hit 65. With right tweaking, I'll hit 65. It won't be the best engine in the world, but for a 1200cc unit, I guess I'll have to settle for it. Single carburetor 4-barrel. Come on. You've got a great carburetor. No? Will it only do it with 60? Will it only do 65 with a DCOE in? How about twin single barrel? No, I can't do that. Oh, because it's an inline 3, isn't it? 64. So you can go. Hopefully give me power. No, you're dropping. It drops because of a balance of the engine, basically. If you don't balance your fuel mixture and everything correctly. Oh dear. $5,500. No, I don't want it to. I want it to rev low. Rev low and die early. No, that's not what we want from our engines. If it die early, then no one buys our products again. Okay, a few people will, but not everyone. And then we have the ignition timing. Might be able to gain a bit from this. Might be able to gain a bit from the exhaust as well, because I did just change the size of the engine. No. Okay, I will get 65, definitely. I could be imagining it, but the engine just sounds broken to me. Okay. Don't want to race exhaust. That's not going to work. 64. 63, but can we sort this out with magical technologies? Maybe we can. No, it's not going to work. It does rev low still, despite everything that's happened in this engine. Yes! I've kind of hit 65. I know I'm kind of cheating as well, because that won't actually be 65. It'll just be 64 point something. Yes, 64.6. I'll accept that as a win. No, a win. What is wrong with my voice today? I'll accept it as a win, even though it shouldn't be, because I'm just lazy and I can't be bothered to redevelop the engine to be any better than it currently is. So 5,800 RPM max. Yeah, probably better that it's not any higher than that, because I really weren't paying too much attention. It's a very low quality engine. What can you expect from it? -5 on all the quality. I can't go too far with it. Right, what else do we have? We have 17.10 to 60. That can change, because the engine isn't that bad. It is a fun car, essentially. However, the rating is low, because reasons. The fuel economy is low. The weight is low. Everything is low. Where's the miles per gallon? Oh, miles per gallon is low. It's such a disappointment. 15 point something to 60. I think I can get under the 15s. Yes, I can indeed. 14.7. So 100.8 is now it's showing. No, it likes going the other way. You like the gears to be long, don't you? Ooh, wait. So it likes the gears going a bit longer. That's fine. Fun budget, I will obey your commands. to an extent. Wait, so 69, and that's the number it wants. I'll just stay with it. 15 seconds almost to 60. But for the time, that's pretty good. We'll go with our 155 tyres. The rear tyres are too wide. Medium tyres. Well, that's sort of the tyres are out. Just fix it by putting it on what I originally had. We'll go, the car's weight and lack of power steering reduce its drivability and comfort. Well, when the car honestly weighs under 800 kilograms, I don't think it needs power steering. It reduces comfort as well, but it's a sports car in its essence, so why should that be a essential concern? Consider using power steering. No, I don't want power steering. City budget, so yeah, it does have roots there. I think we'll remove that completely. The car's so light already. If we remove the entertainment, we're onto a very, very light vehicle. The car's weight and lack of power steering, again, it's complaining about. It's still got the basic safety because, yeah, it needs that, I think. Fun budget is looking good. Did the infotainment really change it that much, though? Well, not infotainment, the entertainment, should I say. Changed it quite a bit. And then the suspension did the rest. Sportiness. We've got still 18 miles per gallon from a almost 65 horsepower car. It's not that economical. We've got the weight and power steering, it's complaining. Dampers and stuff, but that is not right now because we do need to adjust the gearing. I feel we can improve upon it. Yeah, there we go. And I'm not sure. It is slightly quicker than it was, thanks to the lack of an infotainment system. 110.8 and 14.6 to 60. There we go. It's mainly a budget fun car. Nothing else really anymore is pleased by it. Actually, the fun budget was kind of lenient. Oh, it's strange because the gears jump around with the miles per gallon and whether they like it or not. Yeah. Slightly strange. Nonetheless, I won't complain. It's got a good 4-speed transmission here. And 110.9. So we've improved it already. By slowing it down. Ooh! It'll do 88 miles per hour, apparently. It'll do 88 miles per hour on a windy day with a downhill. So, yeah. I mean, if you're desperate to go to the future, this car will take you there on a windy day down a hill. So, you know, that's one positive I guess you can take out of the whole experience. And indeed, we have a messed up suspension that isn't comfortable for anyone. How heavy is it at the moment? 745 kilograms. Okay, that's good, that's good. So how about normal? Yeah, there's just a chance it could like normal more comfort, so I'm going to test all of these. Fun budget does seem to like utility. I mean, that surprises me. I've got a sports car and I enjoy driving it as if it handles like a pickup truck. So front brake force is low compared to grip. Right. Are the disc brakes lightweight? Maybe if they're lightweight, I will give them a consideration. So, how do they compare? Weight? Yep, they are slightly lighter. If they are... well, they're not slightly lighter. So... slightly heavier, but only slightly. So, I think I can deal with that. And... pad type. The rear brake force is low, okay. So we want to raise the quality just a little. Just enough to give us 1 piston brakes. Come on. Front brake force is low. Yes, I know. Oh dear. Front and rear brake force are low compared to grip, so it says. Oh dear. I don't want to go with ridiculously high-end brakes, but I may have no choice. To be honest, I don't want to go with disc brakes. For a time, they would have been too high-end, I think, for this type of vehicle, but it complains otherwise, so, you know. That's about as best as I can do. I've had to raise the quality of the brakes because it's an important attribute of the car. We'll go with some dampers next, I guess. And for rear brakes, it's not complaining about yet. So, rear brakes. At least I can put drums on the rear. That'll save a little money. I just need to make them bigger until it stops complaining. I know it will stop complaining at some point because on 220mm it did. There we go. It only needs 190mm, that's good. So we've got disc brakes front and drums rear. And we've got no power steering, but I don't think it's necessary regardless of what the game says. The front dampers are hard and the rear dampers are hard. So sport suspension, as you do, and I need to actually adjust the gearing again. Just do the tiniest of touches to make sure it's just right, because you'll see I gained a point there for the markets. It went from 109.2 to 109.3. How can I really complain about that? And we'll go dampers. Dampers are hard. I think I double-clicked by accident. There we go. It's fixed. So, we have the not Mini Cooper, I guess we could call it. Not Mini. It's the not Mini Cooper. Or better still, it's the not Mini Looper, for lack of a better name. And can we see the engine in there? No, still not got an engine in the engine bay. How strange. Could make this rear engine perhaps. That was also quite a popular driveline at the time, before the Mini came, and then everyone saw the Mini and thought, hey, this is the future, let's just copy it. And they did. And no one really bothered going back to rear engine after that, other than Renault, which occasionally did. So, exhaust tip. We'll go put one of them there. That will be our exhaust. Probably comes out the wrong side of the engine, but you know, I've got bigger worries. We'll go add one of these fuel filler caps. Totally just rip off the Ford Mustang here while we're at it. Because, you know, why not? You'd rip off the Mustang, wouldn't you? Right, so I think if we go with badge, can we get a square? I'm sure I've seen it before or something. Oh no, it was actually bumper bars. They were the chrome strips under bumper bars. I'm not sure exactly where to find them, but if I do, then I will have a good thing going for me. So it's not those. I think it's these ones. Yes, indeed. You can be expanded. And you can be expanded again. Out that way though this time. So there we go. And where's the Do Mini Dad? Where you change it, there it is. Only we don't want that, we want black. Yes. Totally not Mustang. Only it's front wheel drive, so yeah. There we go. We'll go with some tail lights. I think I know what to go with. Well, I weren't intending to go with these, but if they work, they work. And you go here. That can be made additionally wide. So you are rotated like so. We'll go with the chrome, hopefully, if I can find anything. I don't know. No chrome that I can see. Can I go with that kind of weird silvery colour? No, I can't. Okay. That will have to do. I think they're lights off an old Mercedes or something. But they work. That fuel filler cap just doesn't work though from certain angles. If I go with this one, should work from other angles. And indeed it does. And make it a little larger because it's a European car. We want it to stand out as a standout feature, I guess. And where else do we need to add bits? To number plate we need to add. What's under here? We'll go add that one. And nope, we need one of these. Can we bring that to the front? Like so. There we go. Excellent. Other than the bumper holes, which are just below the number plate for reasons I can't quite understand. There we go though. We've got 2 number plates. We need door handles. And mirrors. And we will be done with this thing, I think. So, also we need chrome. How could I forget that? These 2 need to be chrome. Oh no, the whole thing needs to be chrome, not just those bits. There we go. Chromed door handles as well is something we need. And maybe a spoiler. Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Yeah, that doesn't really work as a spoiler if you ask me. Thankfully, this one is a little better. So, I guess you go plastic like that. I'm not really sure it's working as it should, to be honest. There we go. And Cedric. Cedric, you are a good car. Where are the door handles? Now tell me, Cedric. So, I think they're weird fancy ones. These are more relevant to our vehicle. Flip them over to the other side. Mirror them even. If I can find that. Mirror. There we go. Cedric is ready to rise. No! Cedric, you were supposed to mirror it. I think it was already mirrored and I just unmirrored it, to be entirely honest. And we've got to have a bit of chrome down here, I guess. Where is the bumper bar? There we go. Could have just a little chrome line. Just add that bit of touch there. Make it look a little nicer and fancier. you can get shorter. So long. And Chrome. There we go. So, is that mirrored? No, it's not mirrored. Now I have to mirror it. There we go. Now it's mirrored. So there we go. The Cedric. Or the not mini. I just forgot it was called Cedric when I entered that. Time to fix my mistake. Here we have the Cedric Looper. And it is, well, an amazing car. It exceeds in one class and fails in all the other ones. Fun budget is what it does. But anyway, I'm going to have to leave this here and say goodbye until another day.